Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at bellisiofoods.com/careers.
And welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where it is a, well, kind of dreary Tuesday out there, but hopefully the rain is moving on. I can't believe we're happy that we got rain and then we want it to go away, but we're never happy.
That's true.
Yes. But I do have, and we're happy to have, Dr. Kelly Roush here on the program. And I think a lot of people know you and they see you out and about and all over the place, honestly, helping our local athletes and that kind of stuff. But we haven't gotten to have you to talk right here on the show have you been here? But you've been here before, haven't you?
Yes.
A long time ago.
Been a couple years.
Yeah,
yes.
A few years ago. And so we're going to catch up with you, some of the things that you do there at Holzer. And of course, you also help so many, as I said, local athletes out along the way, out of the kindness of your heart sometimes too. So
yeah,
you have a bunch of kids, don't you?
Yes. I love kids.
She's all the time somewhere at some sporting event helping. So yeah. Well, let's talk about your actual job at Holzer and some of the things that you do. What are the letters behind your name?
So I'm a certified chiropractic sports physician, a certified athletic trainer, a doctor of chiropractic, and I have a diplomate in sports medicine.
That's why I asked her, because I couldn't say all of that. So what does all of that mean?
I do. It just means the extra certifications just allow me to do a little bit more care. I can do therapy and chiropractic and physician evaluations all together in my office. So it's like a one-stop shop. So you don't have to go to multiple locations to get all of those services. We do the exam, the evaluation, get the x-ray. Once we know what's going on, I can do chiropractic if it's needed. And then we do the strengthening exercises and the modalities to help hold everything in place or to decrease the swelling or to regain the range of motion in your joints, all at one visit.
See, she does it all. You can come see her and that's it. Now, and some of the things that I've always talked about Holzer is the fact that the diagnostic testing, all of that stuff under one roof, plus you have family practice and then you have all the specialties as well. So a lot of times if you show up at the clinic or the hospital or whatever, you don't have to leave. You can go within that facility and that makes it very handy.
Right. And our Jackson location on Pattonsville, it is a great location. We have great support from Kara Knight, our manager. And, we have x-ray, MRI. We have radiologists available at all times to read x-rays, even on the weekends, Sunday nights. If I need something stat, all I got to do is text them when they're willing to help out. If it's something emergent, I try not to bother them. But we have chiropractic, we have family practice, we have peds.
What's that?
Pediatrics.
Oh.
Everything's right there in one location. We actually have pharmacy on site. We have occupational medicine, lab. So just about anything you would need is there. Our medical specialists are 5 minutes away at the hospital. So you have cardiology, ortho, right with the ER services as well. So, it is very convenient for the people in the community, and it's local care and it's quality care.
And I'm glad you said that, the local and the quality, because, again, I think I hope that you all appreciate what we have here in our area, because, you go to the big city or you go to the ER in Columbus or whatever, it could be days before you get in, even at the ER, unless it's, super life threatening or something. But, and here we have people that are willing and able to see you, and all of that diagnostic testing right there. And it's big city stuff, but in a smaller environment, and it's wonderful.
Right. And what's great about the sports injury and occupational medicine is I can typically evaluate a patient, get the MRI pre-sorted through the insurance, get it scheduled, and get the results same day, next day. Depending on the insurance approval, as soon as we get the approval, then it's pretty quick turnaround. We can usually get you scheduled at one of our locations, and I have the results within a couple hours typically, unless it's late in the evening and then it's first thing the next morning.
And that's just, I'm sorry, but that's just kind of unheard of in the big city.
Yeah,
I mean, it just
something
is.
unique to this area and local hospitals, and we do our best to provide that quality service and quick turnaround because patients are nervous. They want to know what's
Yeah.
going on with them, and we also have where you can get on the portal and see your results immediately as well.
And that's super handy, because sometimes it may take, not saying you, but, depending on what the test is and whatever, it may take the doctor until, the following work week or something to call you about a test result, but you can just jump right on there and see it yourself. That's
Yes,
super
and
cool.
the results come to me immediately, and I will call the patient whether it's late evening or Saturday morning or even Sundays. I've called patients when the results pop in because, again, if it was me, I would want to know those results. You're paying for the service, and I feel that we need to provide those results to you as quick as possible because that does decrease your anxiety and helps to know how to care for it. I can tell you immediately, oh, well, let's switch from the heat to the ice, or let's not do those range of motion exercises based on what I saw on the MRI. So it does help us provide better services to improve the turnaround time.
Yeah. So and the fact that this lady never isn't working. Let's just put it mildly, like never isn't working, whether you're physically at work or helping someone on the side or whatever, you're always out and about doing something. And so let's talk about, obviously there's occupational hazards, people get hurt at work or whatever, but when I think of you, I think of you helping the kids.
Right.
So let's talk about what all you do to help our local youth in sports and other situations.
Well, I love helping others, and I love my job. I really enjoy getting involved in the community, whether it's participating in the Apple Festival Parade, helping kids get to the state level in tournaments, helping them get college scholarships by getting them better. But we also, what we do for the kids, we do for adults with occupational medicine. Just like an athlete gets hurt on the field, we have to evaluate them, find out what's wrong, get them recovered, do some rehab services. Same thing with occupational injuries. We have employers wanting them back in at work. We have coaches wanting them back into play. So we are very aggressive with our treatment process. We do, the treatment right away and, do everything possible. It's a comprehensive treatment to get them back to work, to get them back to participation in sports. So it kind of works hand in hand. It's kind of the same type of philosophy. So that's why I love doing a little bit of both.
Yeah, you don't get bored, do you?
No.
Not that you don't stop enough to get bored. So what's the difference between, or is there between treating the young ones and adults? Is it more challenging for the kids as they're growing and things, or?
Actually, it's more challenging with the adults because the athletes want to get back to play. They're begging you to put them in, and they will do the exercises you tell them to do because they want to get better and get released. And it's amazing because every Friday, every patient, every athlete, I'm great. I can play today. And Thursday they couldn't
It's
walk.
fine. I mean, my arm's not attached to my body, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Just throw some tape on
and
it.
I'm like, you sure you're not saying it because it's game day? And then they just laugh. But with adults, it's a little different because not everybody wants to go back to work immediately. So you kind of push them. I can't be quite as aggressive with, a little bit older people in the work site. So we have to tone it down a little bit.
Gotcha.
But we have an array of different exercises and different treatment protocols that we can utilize depending on their level of conditioning, their level of injury. And I have a great staff that are trained to know how to take care of those injuries.
Wonderful. And yes, what you do is just amazing. So let's talk about the I guess go down the road of helping the kids. And are you at local sporting events? How does that work?
Yes, I'm the sports medicine director for Holzer, and I've been doing that job for 28 years. So we go out to 7 counties and provide sports physicals. During usually the month of May, we also take care of the University of Rio Grande, and those are in August. We have team doctors and athletic trainers out at most of the local schools. So if you see athletic trainers on the sidelines, they're typically from Holzer.
Oh, okay.
In Gallia, Meigs, Mason, well, not Mason, Gallia, Meigs, Jackson, Benton, about 4 or 5 counties. So we cover a wide variety of schools, and so I oversee that program. And then I'm also on the team physician for Jackson High School, so I'm at all sports. It's not just football. We cover soccer, volleyball, wrestling, basketball, any sport there is. We're out there. Jason and I are out there on the field or on the court, taking care of the athletes and, making sure they're safe, evaluating them during the game participation, as well as doing their recovery in the office.
So I'm sitting here thinking, my gosh, not only do you have your day job, but you're at all these sporting events and stuff too. Do you sleep?
Not much. I guess I've always been blessed with that I've never really required a lot of sleep.
You wouldn't be able to.
And I'm an early morning person, so I'm usually up 4:30 and get my day started. I go in early and work out before work because when I'm done with work, I'm usually running to a game. But I love what I do, so it's not like going to a job or I love going to work and I love coming home to my family too. So
Sure. So let's talk about the different sports. Are there different seasons where the kids are more prone to injury, like different sports? Maybe football or wrestling or something versus basketball or soccer.
Yeah, with football, this time of the year in the fall season, you have cross country, football, volleyball, soccer, golf going on. So with football, we see a lot of knee injuries more commonly than other injuries, some ribs, concussions. With soccer, actually, there are more concussions prevalent in soccer than there are football, which most people don't understand that. You see a lot of ankle injuries with soccer, knees, thigh injuries from, straining their thighs, running different directions, changing directions. Volleyball, it's shoulder, ankles. With wrestling, it's more, you see a lot of concussions, head injuries, shoulder injuries.
Really? With wrestling?
Yes.
Concussions?
Yes. Oh, yeah, because they're being thrown to the mat and
okay.
Getting in headlocks, and sometimes when they flip over, they hit head to head. Basketball, it's more ankles. So it just depends on what the season is.
Okay.
Also, golf, it's back injuries. So each sport has their specific injuries, but any injury can happen in any sport. I've seen some pretty unique things. So,
what's the strangest thing that you've seen? That you're like, what?
Well, this was when I was Meg's team doctor. I was working football practice and I got a call and they're like, "We need life flight for a golfer." I'm like, "What?" Golf injury. And I got there and he had the end of his golf club sticking out the front of his skull. He had took his club and swatted at a bee. And when he did, he hit a pole and it broke and it went straight into his head. He had a skull fracture and had to have a steel plate put in. Yeah. So we did need life flight for that injury.
And it's not funny, but it's funny. Like
it is now.
It is now.
He was fine, and he came to the football game with a scarf on his head. Then a couple of days later, I'm like, "Should you be out here?"
I feel like it's like Happy Gilmore, where the guy gets the nail stuck in his head.
That's probably one of the strangest. Sometimes you have more serious injuries that is a pretty serious injury, but luckily it had a good outcome. But femur fractures that we've never seen before, we're starting to see them more prevalent, and I'm not sure if it's the lack of nutrition that we see with these kids or these energy drinks, but something definitely has changed in the bone density, we're seeing more fractures than we've ever seen before.
Interesting. And you would think in the modern world, there would be more supplements and things like that to help the kids keep their bones strong and whatever, but you're right. It could probably diet.
Yeah, I think it's, back when, I was being raised, I mean, we lived off the farm. We had fresh vegetables, we had milk from the
Yeah.
cows, we had, meat from our farm, and now everything is processed food. But, I think a lot of it's these energy drinks, and you see these kids even having heart attacks at teenage level and, massive amounts of caffeine. So, I would highly suggest if you have a kid in sports, caffeine, this level of caffeine is not good for your kids. They need to be drinking milk. They need to be drinking water and juice and Gatorade and stay away from these caffeinated drinks.
Sure. And they're kids, for the love of God, they should have enough energy. I can
Yeah.
remember, it certainly isn't today, but I can remember like growing up and being like, I just have all this energy and I don't know what to do with it. So, yeah.
And I think the other thing is kids are not as active, so there's not as much weight bearing exercise.
Okay.
So they're setting more, they're more sedentary, playing Xbox and, on their phones and their video games instead of out working on the farm and out running and,
We rode our bikes all over the place
running in
too.
the
Walked.
woods and doing things that we used to do, hiking and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God, we sound like old people, don't we?
Yeah.
Back in our day, we used to throw hay bales and
Yeah.
which is actually true, but
Yep.
no, I get where you're coming from. Okay, so obviously we need to keep the kids in shape while they're playing the sports, and they are all required to do physicals ahead of the seasons, right? Which you, I think, help with. But then if something happens during a season, you have these Saturday morning clinics. So can we talk about that?
Yes. So, you can schedule an appointment for the Saturday morning clinics or you can walk in. But we are there basically on Saturday so that we can speed up the healing process. We can get you in, get your x-ray, get you treated so that, you can probably get back into play Monday or at least let your coach know what's wrong. So we know exactly how we need to progress from that point. In all sports, it's for cross country, volleyball, basketball, softball. It could be somebody just slid and fell, on their sidewalk. Somebody was
Sure.
lifting logs or carrying trees out of their yard, clean up from the storm. We can get you in on Saturday morning and get you taken care of.
And where is that located?
At the Holzer Clinic, Pattonsville, up where urgent care is.
The one on top of the hill.
Yes, up on the hill.
That's how I remember. The one up on top of the hill. So you can just walk in. And what are the hours of that?
8 to 10 a.m.
8 to 10 a.m. So you got to get out of bed.
Yep. And you really need to be there by 9:30 because we end at 10. And a lot of times we do have to get out right at 10 because I also have events to go to when we're done. So we have to run to like a soccer game at the school or may have other games that we have to get to cover.
Okay, because you are everywhere all the time.
Yep.
Yes. Now, on these Saturday morning clinics, is that just for local young athletes, or is that for anybody that may have had an injury along the way?
It's for anyone. And we can see regular chiropractic patients. We can do occupational medicine. So if you had a work injury, we can see you on Saturday morning.
Okay.
If you know ahead of time that you might want to schedule that, just call the office and get that scheduled. But so we can be prepared for your visit. But if it's something you just woke up with or it happened on Friday and you want to come in Saturday morning, that's fine too.
Okay. And the thing is, that is very convenient, and that's something that you are there just for that. But, Holzer always has the ER. They always have the urgent care open pretty much every day, but what, Christmas and Thanksgiving? Is that it? That's for urgent care.
Yeah. ER is open all the time.
ER is always there. But yeah, so there's always somebody there for you. But these Saturday morning clinics are specialized kind of to what you do, which is awesome.
Yes, and we also have Saturday morning clinics at our Sycamore location where my office is, and one of our ortho uses that space at Sycamore
Okay.
on Saturday mornings as well. So we have multiple areas covered.
And that's in Gallipolis, if you don't know.
Yes. And we do sports injury care all week long as well. When I'm in Jackson Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, and I'm in the Sycamore branch in Gallipolis Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Okay, so if you need Dr. Kelly, she will be here for you.
Yes. Think Holzer first.
Oh, Mason's so proud over there. Little Marla's just beaming. No, that is absolutely true for sure. Okay, so now does somebody need like a referral to get to you, or how do they get to you if they don't come in Saturday morning?
Yeah, you don't need a referral. A lot of the athletes, the athlete trainers will text me, the coaches text me and just say, hey, I need to get a kid in. But you don't need a referral to see me because I am a physician. So you can just call the office and get in. You can get on your patient portal and schedule an appointment. So there's lots of ways to get in to get an appointment.
Okay, very good. And you can call 1-855-4-HOLZER, 4, the number, Holzer, right? He's beaming again. He's proud. Or holzer.org, which the website is so cool. The Holzer website.
Yes, our marketing department does a great job, showing what we are very involved in the community. Everywhere you look, Holzer is out there, whether it's sponsoring a ball game with T-shirts before the game or whether it's, walking in the parades. We had a huge turnout for the Apple Festival and other festivals, cancer awareness. We're just everywhere, we're promoting things at Rio and different counties in Meigs County and Gallia, Lawrence, Jackson, Athens, Gallia County.
Yes.
We're a little bit of everywhere, and Holzer loves being part of the community. We sponsor a great deal at the county fairs. We provide the Holzer trailer at different events, for safety reasons. Evan and his group does a great job with that. So we have a really great team, and we are here for you.
I know, for example, and here's a plug to get it started this week, during the Jackson Sidewalk Market last year, we had one of our servers, bartenders, was going through breast cancer treatments. And so I got together with some people, Josie Rader and the just some people that cared and whatever. We started last year this pink party on Portsmouth. And so we did that last year for the first time. And so that will be again this Thursday in conjunction with the Jackson Sidewalk Market. And I know Holzer was a great partner last year for that and are going to be again this year. So we appreciate that so much. And hopefully you can stop by, and we would like to raise tons of money. And we have a couple of patients that have started their journey, unfortunately, this year that we have chosen to help out as we can. So, yeah, we hope that you stop by, but Holzer, of course, always front and center and helping with things like that as well.
And that's a great event. They have First Friday in Gallipolis, and they have the Thursday here in Jackson. And
Yes.
I've been to both of them, and they're great community events. You get to help the businesses that support you. So it's good to come out and see the local businesses that have their different vendors out. There's always good food trucks too.
There you go. And it is a great time for you to kind of walk around town and see maybe local businesses that you haven't seen. Stop in, take a look around, and of course support whatever cause it may be that month, because they tend to have a theme. And it's just a really good time. And life's hard and it sucks sometimes, and this is something where you can get together and kind of join in with the community and help, but have fun along the way too.
Yes, it's always fun to help somebody else. I was thinking, I was kind of upset because we didn't have electric for 4 days, and I was thinking about all those people that lost their homes, that lost their loved ones,
Sure.
and how grateful I am I can do without electric. I can make do with, buying new groceries or whatever. But some of those people were affected more greatly than our area, and we just need to be grateful. And I love helping other people, and just help your neighbors. See if there's a need.
That's exactly right. And as people continue on without electric, and I think about, so my husband and I, in owning a brewery and restaurant, we're love the Asheville, North Carolina area because they're very well known. There's tons of breweries. They kind of started the whole trend of like lots of breweries, and they have wonderful restaurants down there and just such a really neat artistic scene and whatever. And they're not on the coast, and they have been absolutely decimated. And Jamie's pulling up pictures, like, remember when we were there last year and we sat right there, and it's the building's like gone. And I'm like, so yeah, um, think about your friends, your loved ones, your neighbors that may or may not have electric, but just having a home to go to right now, where so many people don't. I can't even imagine what that would be like.
And that's what I love about working at Holzer more than probably anything is the community involvement.
Yes.
We have the Danny Elfs. It's like a program that helps our own employees for Christmas. Those employees it's a fund you can sponsor,
Aw.
to help employees buy gifts for their family, their kids, and support them, as well as all the community events that we support throughout all of our local areas.
And people can talk all they want about small communities and people being in each other's business and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that's what's so great about small communities is we do, it's cultural, and we do help each other. And I don't think that you don't even have to be told or asked. It just happens. So I think that's a great thing. And Holzer is certainly part of that.
Yep.
But so I was going to ask you, because I always ask everybody, what's your favorite part about working at Holzer? But I think you might have answered it. But if you want to expand, that's good too.
I love the community support, as I said before. I love being part of the community, and I love the working and helping others. That's what my goal was when I was a young age, and I'm from this area, so I love coming back and helping the people that helped me when I was younger. My bank gave me a scholarship through 4-H. I was raised in 4-H, and all these people were just so wonderful to me growing up. The local businesses, and I just wanted to come back home and provide services for the people here in Appalachia.
Well, we are absolutely so happy to have you here and appreciate you so much. And if you don't ever feel appreciated, know that you are.
Thank you
for all the hard work that you do along the way, because it is a lot, and you spend many, many, many hours out helping people that you don't have to sometimes. So what made you, while you're here, when did you know you wanted to do what you do?
Well, it's a funny story. I wanted to do sports medicine since I was young. Since I was heavily involved in sports. I played volleyball, basketball, softball. I cheered and was field commander of the band. Went to Coyote Creek High School, local school here that was small, so we had to do everything in order to have sports.
Okay. I was going to say,
Yeah.
how did you do all of that?
I would go out and direct the band in my cheerleading uniform, and
Stop.
and split the practices, but like I said, we had a small school, so you had to participate in everything in order to have those sporting events. So I knew I wanted to do something to help athletes, and at that time I was thinking orthopedics. So I was looking at orthopedics, but I freeze. I don't think I could stand working in the surgery department because I would freeze to death. And I also don't like indoors. I like being outside.
Okay.
So I started, about a year into med school, 2 years in, I decided that, I love chiropractic. So I came home and I worked in a chiropractic office for a summer, just providing athletic training services because I was an athletic trainer first.
Okay.
and just fell in love with it. I was sitting in the waiting room one day and hearing the patients walk in, limp in and walk out. I'm like, wow. And these
This
people are
is
like,
like
this is
magic.
great. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, what are they doing in there? It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Huh.
And so I started researching and studying it because I didn't really know anything about chiropractic.
Okay.
And I'd always heard chiropractic's quacks and, stay
Well,
away. And
there
then,
is that stereotype. So
yeah. So, I started researching. I thought, this is a really good way to help people instantly. The results are instant. So I started researching, and about my second year, I was doing really well and getting ready to decide what route I wanted to go to, whether I wanted to do family practice or whether I wanted to do orthopedic surgery. And the orthopedic surgeon I was observing was on her third divorce, and she looked at me one day and she said, "Don't be an orthopedic surgeon. You love kids. If you want a family, I've raised 3 families and I don't get to see my kids."
Oh, wow.
And it kind of got me thinking about family life and what would be the best fit. And the chiropractor I worked for had a babysitter that came to their office and kept their kids above their office when they were young, so they could just go up and see them at lunchtime and play with them. And I was like, that's a great family fit. And I can work 9 to 5 and have normal hours. Well, that didn't work out so well.
How naive were you?
But a lot of chiropractors can keep those hours,
Yes.
and I fell in love with it. She introduced me to a friend of hers, and I went to Palmer College at Chiropractic and visited, and I fell in love with the school. And I remember that phone call home to my parents saying, I want to be a chiropractor. And they're like, what?
You're going to what?
And I absolutely love my profession. It's a great profession. Chiropractic is not what a lot of people portray it to be. It's very helpful. It's very safe. I don't ever touch a neck without getting an x-ray and seeing what's wrong first. And, we do a thorough exam before we do any manipulation. The manipulations are not what you see on YouTube where they're taking the towel and yanking the head around and this loud audible. It is very safe. Chiropractors are well educated. It's pretty much the same education as osteopathic doctors in the first several years. And then we do more neurology, more osteopathic, and then they go off into the pharmacology education at that point. So, if you have a back pain and you've been afraid to try it out, I would suggest you go see your local chiropractor and, try it out for yourself and see what you think.
And I was sitting here thinking as you're talking, because with social media now comes all of this sensationalism, right? You see, as you said, these crazy things of people doing all kind of wacky things, and that's not necessarily A, the safest, or B, how it normally is when you come in and see somebody like yourself. What could somebody expect who is very, very afraid to come in and they're like, I don't like things cracking. It's just totally got me scared to death. What would you say to that?
Well, there are different ways that we can do adjustments. There's even like little clicker guns if you don't like to hear the pop. There's drop tables that we can use. Everybody has a different style. So if you go to one chiropractor and you don't like that style, you might want to try a different chiropractic physician because every style is different. Even within Holzer, we have 3 different styles of how we practice.
Oh, okay.
I do more hands-on, more of the cracking, popping, just because I deal with a younger population typically that needs to get better faster. Dr. Kincaid uses a lot of drop tables. Dr. Ramsey uses a lot of Graston, a lot of soft tissue mobilization and modalities in that direction. So all 3 of our styles are different.
Okay.
So if you go to one chiropractor and you have a bad experience, that doesn't mean that all of them are going to be bad. It's the same as if you go to a family doctor and you have a bad experience for a surgeon. I think you can expect to have a thorough evaluation before you have any kind of treatment done. And if you have questions, ask before you get treated. And then, we'll review the x-rays and then, explain the treatment process to you and make sure that you understand, what is going to occur before we do the treatment.
And here's the thing. If you don't feel, I don't care what kind of doctor or that it is. If you don't feel comfortable with that person, find somebody else. Right?
Yep.
If you don't like the style, if you don't mesh well with someone, then go somewhere else.
Yeah,
Be your own advocate.
and there are patients that come into my office and they may have more brittle bones, and I'll just say no, I'm a little too aggressive for this patient, and I'll refer them to another chiropractor,
Which
usually
is
to one of our
That's
colleagues at
great.
Holzer. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. And that's one of the great things about Holzer also is you all are a tight-knit team, so you can refer somebody on. There's somebody within the building probably that can help out. It's
Yes.
great. So, well, awesome. Is there anything else you wanted to tell our viewers while you're here?
Um, no, I just want to thank everybody who has been a patient or has visited my office or has been a Holzer patient, and just come and try us out. We have wonderful physicians and staff to take care of you, and it's quality, quick care, and just give us a try. Give us a call if you need anything. We are here for you.
That's right. And Dr. Kelly Roush is everywhere. So she's at every, I don't know how, do you clone yourself? What do you do?
No.
Okay. I don't know how she does it all, but thank you for what you do.
Thank
Greatly
you.
appreciate it. All right. Well, Jeremiah is here in the house. So I think we have a message from our friends at Vinton County Bank, and we'll be back with him on the other side.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
And we are back with our good friend Jeremiah. So what is going on, buddy?
How we doing, Jen? Still,
I'm good.
it's Tuesday morning, and everybody's running around trying to get the paper together for Wednesday. So that's our Tuesday and Friday mornings are always a busy time in the newsroom.
Yeah.
Usually it's not too bad though. Pizza always does a good job at picking out, okay, this is what we got to get on the front page, so we got to go. I'll tell you a little preview for the front page tomorrow. I'm gonna be talking about the storm that hit Friday.
Was there a storm?
There was a storm that blew through, and I will just say, Pete's headline, if they go with it, it's fantastic. It is. He's got it real big and bold. It's Helene. I don't know if it's like Hurricane Helene or Helene pulled the plug is the headline.
No kidding.
And I told him, I said, I really enjoy your headline because we worked together writing that story, kind of recapping some of the stuff that we heard and some of the stuff we saw.
I'll tell you, you drive around town. I noticed, like, for example, as I was driving in this way, that Toro Loco's sign is like gone.
Oh, okay.
And I was
I haven't been up. I guess I didn't pay attention. I haven't been up that way.
As you drive around, you're like, oh my God,
right,
how did that happen?
I still see a lot of big limbs and trees uprooted and
I'm
stuff.
just going to tell you, I drove by that tree again on Standpipe Road yesterday, the one that went across the road. And of course, it's been moved and cut up and
they got it all cleaned up, did they?
Yeah, but it's alongside the road, and it is just as big as what I remember when I saw it lying across the road. That thing is huge.
Yeah, I ventured out there Saturday morning, and they had finally put up road closed signs. And I didn't know if the lines were still live or not, so I didn't get close. I walked as close as the road sign and took a picture, but somebody else had sent a picture prior to them putting the signs up that was a little closer, and we may have that in print too. But we just have a variety of photos from the catfish getting speared there at Lazy Dog to roof getting blown off down in Oak Hill. I think that was probably the biggest structural damage, was that roof getting blown off there at that apartment building. But just a number of things. But we'll have a good recapping most of what we knew or had heard. And I can say, you can hear it here first, we never had any tornadoes in Jackson County.
Okay.
I talked to the EMA director, Robert Chekleski, yesterday morning, and he said, those warnings went out.
It seemed like we did.
Right. It was just the winds from the remnants of the hurricane.
Yep.
And we got warned twice Friday afternoon during the 4 o'clock hour for a tornado. And he said that his office never found any evidence of a tornado being on the ground.
Okay.
And so I can confirm we had no tornadoes in Jackson County from that. So
Boy,
everything
did it
that
seem
we
like we
experienced across we experienced hurricane, basically.
Yes.
What was left of one,
What was
It's
left.
just hard to believe that, it traveled all those hundreds of miles from, the Gulf all the way up here and still did all that
still
damage.
had that much,
So,
strength.
and I know, you're not really hearing a lot about where it made landfall there in Florida. You're hearing a lot about Tennessee and North Carolina and those cities that have just.
I mean, you're talking about, like I mentioned Asheville not too long, or during
Yeah,
the interview.
right.
That Asheville's 500 miles off the coast and just got decimated.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievably.
That chimney, I can't think of the name of the place, but there's just roads all over the place. And the town's just, just wild. So anyway, I just wanted to stop and just to follow up. I know last week when Pete was on vacation, I stopped in and one day I talked about the, we talked about my 2-part story that was in the Telegram. We had one story about, how state money will put the Louis back on the recovery track on the front page. Right. And that was the part 1. And then we had a part 2 in the following edition about the memorial building and the funding that they're receiving. And all that money's coming from the capital budget.
Okay.
Well, we talked about, how the memorial building is receiving $2.5 million and the Louis is receiving $1.5. Both those buildings are owned by the separate cities.
Sure.
And anyway, we had pictures and people got to read about it. But I have finally got around to preparing a video. And like I was telling Adrian over there, I said I'm a little rusty on putting these together. I said it just takes me so much longer than it used to. Because I used to do these a lot.
Uh-huh.
Okay, when I started years ago. And I used to be able to just pump these things out easy peasy, but anymore it's like.
So are you saying you're getting old?
I think what it is
rusty?
is I'm getting old, rusty, and I want things. I want it to be good, not like perfect, but as good as it can be. And and I've just gotten so used to doing everything live.
Yeah.
And people love the live stuff. And then I always get a little disheartened when I do something like this. It's a little over 4-minute video. It's nice, put together. It's got comments, from each of the mayors about what they're going to do with the funds. Shows both the buildings, shows our Speaker of the House there. And it's a great video, but when you put it out, it doesn't get a lot of views. And I said that's always disheartening for me because I put all this time in it, putting it together and going and shooting all the footage. And it may, like I got like 500 views or something. And it's just like, I just hate it. But I wanted to bring it on the show this morning. And on the backside of this, Telegram editor Pete Wilson should be in to give some news updates. He'll probably talk about there's still some people in the dark this morning.
Yep.
So he can give you an update on that and some other news. So
well, thank you, Jeremiah.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and play that. 2 historic buildings in Jackson County that date back to the Great Depression have each received while looking towards the future. Ohio Speaker of the House Jason Stephens, who also serves as the state representative for the 93rd House District, which includes Lawrence, Jackson, and Gallia counties, was in Jackson County recently. He visited the city of Jackson and the city of Wellston to tour in person 2 projects funded by the capital budget monies.
We have, City of Jackson was given $2.5 million grant by the capital bill there, thanks to Speaker Stephens. That funding was meant to help us try to save this building, meaning the memorial building. The memorial building is in pretty bad shape. A lot of masonry deterioration on the outside, and I've known since I've been here as mayor that eventually we were going to have to do something, and so we had applied for an Appalachian Community Grant to rehab this building and make it into a place that could be City Hall for the next couple generations for Jackson. But we weren't successful in getting that. But Speaker Stephens come through for us and put it in the House bill money but we only got half of what we had requested. But we got $2.5 million. We had previous estimates that it would take 5. So it's still our goal to save this building for the city of Jackson. We didn't have a source of money at all to put the kind of money it's going to take to rehab or save the memorial building. The estimates were at least $5 million to try to rehab and save this. First, complete the study on the building, make sure it's a viable option and what those options are, frankly. Then we'll move on from there and hopefully figure out what we're going to do.
Earlier this year, the Ohio House of Representatives as well as the Ohio Senate each passed House Bill 2, which Ohio Governor Mike DeWine later signed off on. The bill featured Ohio's capital budget allocations for fiscal year 2025-2026. Within the capital budget dollars was $700 million earmarked as part of a one-time strategic community investment fund. Jackson County benefited from those allocations. The two biggest funded projects in the county were the City of Jackson's Memorial Building, which received $2.5 million, and the City of Wellston's Louis Theater, which received $1.5 million. Both projects include efforts to preserve the building to benefit the community.
We're real excited about the capital budget. We got $1.5 million to do the Louis. I don't know if it'll be enough to get us all the way to the finish line, but it is going to make a lot of headway for us. Mainly, we'll get the roof back on it. We'll get the facade, get the doors on it. Getting it back under roof will preserve the building, so at least we can move forward with it in the future. So we're pretty excited about it, and hopefully we'll be able to kick the project off for this year and get it moving. Yep, we're excited to have Speaker Stevens come to town today to recognize the money that he put in for the capital budget for us. So it's a big deal for Wellston. That's the kind of money that otherwise we wouldn't be able to fund projects like this or to move projects forward like this. So Speaker Stevens and John Kerry have both been great advocates to help us, help Wellston, and to keep us moving forward. So in the future, we would like that to become an event, much like the depot has been for Wellston. We would like that to become an event center so people can use it for family gatherings, birthdays, weddings, any kind of function like that. And we're also going to try to set it up so maybe we could host e-gaming and events like that in the future also. So just something to help drive tourism and to move our town forward.
Ta-da! I'm still here.
You are still here. No, that is, listen, a picture tells 1,000 stories, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, both the buildings need some TLC, and they're hoping to save both. Like I said in my story, they both date back to the Great Depression, and they're just hoping, the money that Wellston got, as you heard there, the mayor said will go a long way in getting a roof and doors, secure the building.
You kind of need to have roofs on buildings.
Yeah, and and then the memorial building, they're hoping to use that money. They need double what they received, but they're hoping that will maybe help get them a start. Right now, they're going through. They're doing a study.
Yeah,
there's a group out of Athens doing a study to determine kind of the next steps is where they're at right now.
And that's the thing. It's like we can all sit and conjecture all we want, but you need somebody that knows what they're doing and understands the structural issues and all that stuff before we start talking about prettying up things.
Yeah. No, you want to make sure it's structurally sound. Which
that's the most
the Louis, last time I checked, the Louis they said was structurally sound,
even without a roof.
Without a roof, and it hasn't been without a roof for several years now, and she's still standing okay. So now the memorial building, she needs some help. She needs a new roof. There's a lot of masonry work, as you saw there in that video, that needs to take place, and hopefully once they get this study done, they'll know how best to spend the $2.5 million.
Well, it just so happens that our area is blessed with some of the best masons in the country, so if nothing else, we can do that, right?
I hope so. Yes. Well, Telegram editor Pete Wilson's walked in, so I'm going to give my chair to him.
Pete is here.
Hope you guys enjoyed that video. It is available. I put it up on our YouTube page last night, and it is also on my page on Facebook, as well as the Telegram news page. You can get on there and watch that if you want. So,
absolutely. Well, thank you for doing what you do, Jeremiah. We appreciate you.
No problem.
All right, come on over, Pete Wilson. How are you, buddy?
Fine. How we doing?
We're good. We're good.
Okay. Well, the good news is that more and more people continue to get their electric power back. And remember, these folks have largely been without it since Friday afternoon, Friday evening. Yeah, that's a long time to go without electric service in this modern world.
Yes, it is.
But the very latest numbers, we just checked these before we came on the air. And a matter of fact, some of the outages have been restored this morning just since my first check at 7 a.m.
Great.
So the numbers now in Jackson and Vinton counties total are AEP is down to a total of 60 customers 60 customers in the two counties, 47 in Jackson County, 13 in Vinton. And when the morning started, it was 101 in Jackson County, 50 in Vinton. So even just today, they've about cut that in half. And their restoration time for the Wellston area, which includes our two local counties, is 11 p.m. tonight. It looks like they're heading that direction. Buckeye Rural has made a lot of progress too on their restoration. However, still a lot of people still out there. And in a post that they put out a couple days ago, they were forthcoming, and that is, it's going to take some time. So this work for them will probably go into the week a little longer. But Buckeye Rural currently is reporting 274 outages still out in Jackson County, 352 in Vinton County. And that has improved, though, quite a bit from yesterday. But once again, as they continue on this, the outages that are getting are more scattered, very remote, and, they're not getting... They still have some outages in clusters, but for the most part, it's kind of spread. A lot of remote. I looked at the map for both of them, AEP and Buckeye Rural, and it appears that Buckeye Rural, who of course has the most outages still, their problem areas would be the northern part of Jackson County in Washington Township up there on the Vinton County border, and then right on the other side of the county line in Vinton County in Richland Township, kind of to the west of Hamden and to the west of Wellston in Jackson County. And that's not the only place where there are outages, but that's where there seems to maybe be the most that are in any kind of what you would call a cluster.
Okay.
So,
hey, considering we started with over 10,000 people or residents out of power, we're getting there.
Right. So anyway, those are the latest numbers on the electric service. And Jennifer, in Wednesday's edition of the paper, we've tried to give progress reports, online and of course on the radio. We've talked about it here on Main Street TV. But there'll be a very comprehensive story in Wednesday's print edition, of course, which will be on the website as well. A lot of detail, a number of pictures showing some of the scenes as a result of the storm, the downed trees, the power lines, et cetera. It's still the problem has not gone away, but the biggest part of it has finally been restored. And this is one of the longer outages that I can remember.
Yep.
As far as, because it's, we're talking about, almost 5 days starts coming at the end of the day. It'll be 5 days.
Yep.
So
that's a lot.
The city of Wellston, on a related note, has put out a post that they are in the full cleanup mode. The municipalities, the counties, the road crews, they have trees and limbs to clean up. Sometimes it's wrapped up in the electric service problems too because of the down power lines that may be on the roads as well. But in the city of Wellston, they wanted their residents to know that they're in full cleanup mode. And what that means is that residents or property owners who have sticks or debris should place them at the curb. If you can get them to the curb, the city will be picking them up this week and next. It's a big deal, so it's not going to happen in one day. But they're going to make extra runs around all through the Wellston streets, picking up these limbs and branches or whatever that even once you get them, you don't know what to do with them. But drag them to the curb, and the city will get rid of them for you. For the residents who have lost the electric power, the city will be collecting any extra garbage at no additional cost, because the way the garbage system is set up, you have a certain maximum that you can put out on the curb, and then it's going to cost the city more to do the landfill and all. They're waiving that. You know, they're going to pick up the extra garbage and the debris and whatever.
Things out of their fridges and
right, et cetera. And there's already, you know, I'm sure a financial as well as a convenience burden on the residents who were affected by that. And the city did end their post saying, please be patient. There are a lot of issues that are being dealt with at once. And, you know, when everybody has the problem, you know, they're thinking about themselves and thinking, you know, how am I going to get help? Who's helping me?
Sure.
Believe me, they are aware that you know, cleanup is necessary, but it's going to be done, you know, it's going to take a while.
So here's the interesting thing is I'm sitting here thinking about all the limbs lying around my property, and what is the logical thing to do with a bunch of limbs that you have on your property?
Burn them. Well, you can't do that either. You know,
so I'm sitting here thinking this is like a cruel joke.
Right. Well, since you opened that window to me, now I understand that we had a ton of rain, a ton of rain. Yep. Well, guess what? The open burning ban is still in effect.
Listen up,
folks.
The
the state fire marshal put out a reminder on that on Friday. Yep. They knew that the weather was coming and that some parts of the state, and certainly ours, is going to get a lot of rain. Doesn't matter. We are officially in severe or extreme drought in both Jackson and Benton counties. Now,
how? I don't know.
Right now, you know, my grass is starting to grow in most spots again. Finally, I'll use that as a barometer to maybe extend over how other people are faring as well. But when the national drought statistics or barometers come out, whatever you call it, there's a website you go to, and then, you know, this information gets put out by the governmental agencies now. That is when they will declare that there is no drought and the burn ban is off or whatever. But the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the Wellston Fire Department has both put out information just in the last day saying, I know we got a lot of rain, but the burn ban is still in effect. And if you violate it, you are breaking the law.
Yeah, like it's not good. So here's the thing. If you have a bunch of sticks or whatever you live out, and typically you would burn them, just get them piled up and you don't have to burn them right away.
Right. You know, the time will come when you come. Now, the time will come when you can do that.
Make it a fun weenie roast night.
I think it's maybe around Thursday when that statistics get updated on what the drought conditions are.
Okay.
But remember, they told us, you know, the state and local officials told us at the very beginning that it would take a lot of rain and a lot of time to undo the drought, which occurred over a lot of time when we did not get rain.
For sure.
So the bottom line, here's the simple thing. There is a burn ban until everybody tells you there isn't one.
So just don't burn stuff.
Right. And as a matter of fact,
as much as you want to.
Kind of a parallel to this, starting October the 1st, and this has nothing to do with the drought, starting October 1st, the High Division of Forestry puts in an open burning ban that starts in October 1st, that's today, and goes into, I think, through March, because, you know, things are starting to dry up, you know, the leaves are falling and all like that. And so the ban on open, in addition to the ban on open burning, the fall burn ban went into effect today. And what that means is, and even if the drought gets lifted, this will be in effect. It prohibits open outdoor burning statewide in unincorporated areas during October and November during the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. The ban includes the burning of yard waste, trash, and debris, which, of course, there are a lot of. So especially if you're out of the municipal areas or whatever, you know, you can, because of the danger of brush fires and wildfires, you still can't burn between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Okay.
And, you know, once again, we'll tell you, we promise to also share information when the drought gets lifted.
Yes.
Okay, some other information we want to give you real quick. One thing that we want to brag on is the Golden Rockets Marching Band under Katie King.
Okay.
She's the second-year director. There they are. That is at Lucasville Valley High School last Saturday night. That is late, and that is after they won a bunch of awards. And most importantly, they qualified for state competition.
Nice.
That is done by the Ohio Music Education Association. You may remember the Wellston Bands had a tremendous run of qualifying for state competition. This is the first time now in 3 years that they have done this. So congratulations to Katie King and all of the Wellston Band for that. That state competition that they'll be in will be November the 3rd at Piqua, Ohio, which is near Dayton. I think you head north on 75 and you'll hit Piqua. But anyway, congratulations to the Golden Rockets marching band. Okay, and one other thing we want to tell you from the law enforcement front, a very tense and dangerous situation occurred on Thursday. We would have told you sooner, but we were talking about all this electric outages.
Yeah.
This was in Vinton County at a home on US Route 50. But the Vinton County Sheriff's Office was called to that residence where there was a male who was reportedly intoxicated, was making suicidal threats. He was inside of a camper and he had guns.
Oh, no.
And he had already allegedly fired those guns twice. Well, the deputies, of course, went out there. They responded to that situation. And the suspect, who has since been identified as Forrest Hunt, he fired a couple of rounds at the deputies. And one of the deputies fired back. Nobody was hit. And then there was no more gunfire for a while. Highway patrol troopers arrived to support, and allegedly he fired rounds in their direction as well, not right at them, but in their direction. So another threat there. He quit firing the rounds. Deputies communicated him through a loudspeaker. After 20 minutes, he surrendered without any further incident. But Forrest Hunt, you see his picture up there. That he is incarcerated, Mr. Hunt is, and that matter has been turned over to the Vinton County prosecutor to determine possible charges. So that story we already have online, Jennifer, and we'll of course have it in our print edition on Wednesday.
Okay.
So there you are. We'll have other things to tell you about tomorrow, and hopefully more people will have their power back.
Yes, we will keep our fingers crossed for all of you out there. So. All right. Well, we will be back tomorrow with some more special guests, and we thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to Dr. Kelly Roush for coming in, and also Jeremiah for his follow-up on that story on our municipal buildings and both Jackson and Wellston. So, all right. Have a great day, Pete.
All right. Well, very good. That's
Stay
very
dry.
Very positive about the state funding.
Yes.
I mean, you need to be practical and utilitarian at some point, but I think there is a lot of nostalgia that if the money is there and it can be done, it would be nice to not only preserve those buildings, but continue to use them. And, that window seems to be opening now.
Of course.
Right.
Love that.
More money needed, but a good start.
If we don't get the money, someone else will. So we'll take it.
Right. Well, it kind of started out in our pockets, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.